All right, I'm live. And I just saw Cynthia's question. Is the heat diffuser worth welding? Uh, Probably not really worth messing with too much. They're not uncommon. You don't, they're not really rare. You don't see them a lot, but you can usually pick them up pretty reasonable for one that isn't broken. And it's pretty thin and pretty tough to fix. So it probably isn't worth messing with. You probably still use it like it is, though. I got one too, and it's missing. Huey has one just like it. Only with mine, it's missing some chunks around the edge, and I don't think I'll do anything with that either. Anyway, let me get over there and start making some waffles. Let's see here. Grab my hat. And get the cat out of the way, move some stuff around. Gonna run you over with butcher block, cat. There, get that off to the side a little bit. All right, it would have been nice to have done this last week when it was 20 below while I was doing my stream and I had both stoves going anyway. But this week, it's 40 degrees outside. It was 50 yesterday. It's that little stretch of nice weather we usually get in early March. It makes you think it's going to turn nice. And then we get our second winter. On the plus side, though, it gave me time to get this guy here all finished up, cleaned up. Show you the other side. That's that square Wagner waffle iron. I got it couple of weeks ago, well, more than that, but I'm gonna go ahead and I think I'll put a little bit more wood in there. Stoke that up. Almost snagged my handle and threw it in the fire. All right, that should be enough to keep me going through the waffles. There's that. Put that out of the way. And over the fire we go. Now this is fairly warm already. Not quite cooking hot, but she's not too far from it. 50 square. Yeah, it works nice. I made a batch of waffles with it yesterday for Ma. Took them over to her. She's gonna put them in the freezer, so she's got waffles, and it worked really good. So I'm happy with it. Not sure how well this is gonna work over the wood stove. It worked good over my electric stove, which is kind of surprising with a tall base like that. Can't see because I got my glasses on. There we go. Get this here heated up. But I'm really happy with the way this works. This still got a bit of heating to do. It makes fairly thick waffles, thicker than most of my other cast iron waffle irons make. And I haven't quite figured out exactly how much it takes to fill it out yet. Let me grab my towel here. So yeah, when it was freezing and I needed to have both stoves going, I couldn't make my waffles, but now that it's good and hot, and I don't need a stove going at all, really. Here we are cooking on the wood stove. So let's see here. How we doing? Ooh, that's warm on that side. Now I'm going to use a little clarified butter and grease this up. I see Jim said he sprays his iron down after every waffle. Usually I just grease it down for the first one, and after that I don't need to do it again because they don't stick. But we'll see how this goes. Just brush a little bit of melted clarified butter on there, and we should be in business. And I still got a little bit if I still need some. If I need a little bit more, it ain't a big deal to give her a bit more. That side's plenty hot. I think we can give her a shot. Open it up. Batter's a little thicker than my last one was too. Close it down, we'll see how that goes. I've given up on trying to time these with a timer. I used to, but it doesn't seem to help much. That seems like it's almost a little bit too hot. But we'll see. And I just kind of do it by guess now. And that seems to work all right too. Yeah, I think my fire is a little bit too intense. So I will pick this up. I'll see how that goes with the eye closed underneath of it. See if that puts out enough heat. Because it's getting hot enough to smoke the old oil from last time after I got done, I wiped her down with a little bit of clarified butter. I can speak. One thing about your waffle iron, it makes real thin waffles. Yeah, this seems to make a good bit thicker waffle than my other ones do. But one thing you notice with making waffles in a cast iron waffle iron like this, they're a lot crispier than other waffle irons seem to make. I don't know if I want to open it yet or not. Beautiful stove, thank you. Love the waffle iron as well. Yeah, the square ones are hard to come by. Just peek a little bit. She's come along good. If I have to, I can open one of those smaller eyes in that lid because there's different sized eyes in that. I'll give her just a bit more. And I gotta find my towel. There it is. Even though I got the front door open, it's still warm in here. Because you don't need a whole lot of heat on a day like today. I'm going to call that one good just because I'm going to put that in there and tip you down just a little bit, and we'll see how that comes off. A little bit underdone for what I like them, but pretty good otherwise. Ash could definitely use some more. Oh well. we'll give the next one a little bit longer. And I think what I will do, since my fire isn't roaring quite as bad as it was a minute ago, I'll take off that middle eye. And we'll try that. Yeah, it's definitely a bit underdone on that one side. But that's better than the first waffle usually turns out, so kind of happy with that. Get a little butter on there. While it's waiting for the next one. Gonna be toasting a little more sitting on the wood stove. Probably could if I hadn't buttered it already. And bowls I'm using are worth more than the waffle irons. Not quite, but there's a lot of people that collect Pyrex bowls like that and Pyrex stuff. And these are some of the less expensive patterns. I don't know how well that will show up on there. That's, I think they call that harvest wheat or something like that. But yeah, some of the different patterns on them are just insanely expensive. Yeah, there's definitely a knack to getting these waffles right. And that's why, another thing, that's why they invented the high base waffle iron like that. With a low base on a wood stove, you can just, there's room underneath it so you can just spin it. But with the high base, you can use that on a gas stove and still be able to just flip your iron around. You've seen some go for $200 to $300. Yeah, some, like I said, some of the patterns are really in high demand, and you get a lot of money for them. You know what? I'm gonna just eat this waffle while we're waiting. A little genuine maple syrup made by a guy I used to work with. And we'll put this poor undercooked little fella out of his misery. You have a primary set in your booth. They sell for over 120 online, but you can't get 80 for them. Yeah, that's the way it goes. Seems like everybody else gets the big money for stuff when they're selling. All right, I'll flip this guy one more time and give him a peek. That side needs a bit more doing. And it's a little challenging to do this on the wood stove too, because the temperature isn't always consistent. When I first started, you could hear the fire roaring right along because I had just stoked it a bit, and now it's settled down some. about even underdone. It's still a pretty good little waffle. Has anyone seen the Appalachian waffle iron? Yeah, we looked at one last week, I think it was, when we were looking at prices on Goodwill stuff. I guess they usually go for about $200. So the one they sold went for a fair bit less than that. Okay, that's got to be getting not quite. Getting closer. A little bit slower here now that the fire has settled down some. Might have to poke some more coals that way. I think we ought to be done now. Good enough, I'd say. And since we're stuck on this one, I'll take that out. That browned up a good bit better. Whoop. Broke them in half. I'll show you that one. That one turned out a lot better. There we go. And the other side is a little pale, but it ain't bad. Like I said, on a cast iron waffle iron like that, they really get nice and crispy. Until you soak them with butter and syrup, that is. All right. Yeah, that one is more better. Yeah. Yep. Next one's definitely got enough batter in it. It's already blowing out the sides a little bit. But the nice thing with doing it on the wood stove is any little bits like that just fall down into the fire. Kitten's waiting patiently. Yeah, she's quit chewing on my leg for the time being anyway. When I was getting this all set up before, she had to attack my leg every couple of minutes for some reason. There's them little bits where they burn on. There we go. Now, normally you're supposed to be able. I hate that. Normally you're supposed to be able to tell when they're done when they quit steaming, but I don't really get much steam out of this anyway, so it's all guesswork. Debbie got herself a little parlor stove. Yeah, they're nice. I mean, a lot of them little parlor, little potbelly stoves or parlor stoves, a lot of them have one or two eyes on top so you can cook with them. And yeah, a lot of people use them for years and years for cooking, especially in a in a cabin or something like that. What kind of you got one with 10 sides? Huh. I don't think she's quite ready to open yet. Seems a little bit sticky. I think I want to be back on that side for a minute. The one thing I do miss about my other stove is my old stove had a door in the front. You could feed wood into it while you had stuff on the burner. But I think I need a couple more pieces. See if I can sneak these in without causing too much trouble. And now the fire will be roaring out of control. Put that over. That side looks perfect. I think I'll give this side just a touch more. We'll see how that one comes out. Yeah, that one's nice. Hopefully the other side is as good. And I'll give that just a little more, I think. A little bit more. Yeah, the big bucks, Lehman Hardware in Ohio has cast iron stoves. Yeah, there's a couple, 3 different companies that still make cast iron cook stoves. They're a lot more efficient than the old ones. They're a lot more airtight, and they're more efficient, and they'll hold the fire longer if you want to use them for heating. I don't know how they cook. I've never cooked on one of the new ones, but yeah, they are. There's a few new ones out there if you're looking for them. got the stove that Debbie would really love to have, but living in Texas, she wouldn't get any use out of it. Well, if you don't mind the heat, you can definitely use it anytime you want. That side's good. I think the other side should be good now too. This one wants to stick a little bit. I'll have to re-oil my iron. Come on, you. One spot in the corner that doesn't want to let go. I'll get the rest of you out. There. All right. Turn that over. I'll give that side just a little bit more buttering. And I'll get the other one too while I'm at it. Okay. Got enough batter left for at least one more waffle. That one turned out just perfect on both sides. So I'm getting better at this just in time to be done. Spoon is in my way. There we go. Put my bowl in the sink. Butter these guys a little bit. You can hear how nice, oh, well, don't know if you can hear it, but they're definitely nice and crispy, scraping the butter on them. You hit 51 today, it's too early for all that heat. Yeah, it was in the 50s yesterday and the day before. Like I said, it was 20 below last week when I was doing my show, so that's how it works in Wisconsin. Oops. We pretty typically get a little bit of nice weather late February, early March, and then it turns to shit again until the middle of May. There is no such thing as spring in Wisconsin. It goes from winter. It'll be 35, 40 degrees on the 8th of May. The 10th, it'll be 90 for the rest of the year. Give you a flip. Waffles sound good. They are good. These are really good waffles. Like I said, there aren't Belgian waffles by any stretch, but these are a good bit thicker than the waffles that I usually get out of my waffle irons. or not to rush warmer weather. It gets too hot there. Yeah, it mid 40s are great in the end of February, but mid 40s are really suck at the end of May. And like I say, you always get a few nice days in between just to tease you. And then you usually get about 8 inches of snow. Does anyone else have a problem finding Texas toast bread? I haven't really looked, so I couldn't tell you. Eggs easing down? I haven't really noticed. The problem when they have to wipe out a flock of birds because of the bird flu, with meat birds, chickens that are being raised to butcher, it only takes a couple of months to rebuild the population and get back to normal market level, because most of your frying chickens and things like that, they're only about 14 weeks old. It doesn't take long to grow them out. But with eggs, it takes about 6 months before a hen starts laying good. So it takes a lot longer to recover from something like that. I think I can call that one done. Hopefully. What's the backside look like? Not bad. A little bit under, but looks all right. Now, get this guy off of the fire. Let's see here. Put that there. And now it's time for the dead air and blank screen for a little bit while I move everything back around. Turn off lights I need to turn off. Rearrange, reorganize. Butter my waffle again. Get me some syrup on that guy. There we go. And let's see, I will start by closing that off. Moving my microphone so it isn't in my way over here. Big noises, but don't worry too much. All right, move the camera. Move the cat. Get out of the way, you silly beast. Set a camera stand on you, you ain't careful. Alright, I think I got that just about the right spot. Well, I like to move it a little more. There we go. Now, kill the lights that need to be killed. That one off. This one off. Grab my waffles. A little more syrup in case I need it. I'm coming. Don't worry. Just about there. Need just a little more adjusting on my camera there. That's got it. Ah, there I am. Get my hat off. Ah. Yeah, there we go. Give you a little closer view of the pile of waffles I ended up with. Minus the ones I ate already, of course. And these are crispy enough you can just pick them up and eat them by hand. Kind of uncouth of me, I suppose, but I've never been overly couth. I do have to grab my towel, though. You always got to forget something. Alrighty. Now, kind of a weird angle. My noble profile. But anyway, that's where I wanted that, was on the floor. Those turned out pretty good. If you have a waffle iron, you really want to use it. You don't necessarily need a base for a cast iron waffle iron. You can usually just lay them right on your stove burner, and it's not much of a problem. Let me try to get myself turned somewhat towards the camera. It's at a weird angle here. Yeah, if you don't have a base for your waffle iron, you can use it just right directly on the burner. And with a low base on a gas burner or an electric burner, you'll have to kind of lift the iron up and spin it around and lay it back down. But other than that, yeah, they make great waffles. I mean, you can see how it went. There's a bit of a knack to it, which I'm still kind of working on. And over the wood stove, the heat isn't always 100% the same every time. But if you're doing it over a gas stove or an electric stove, you can adjust your heat a little bit and keep it a little smoother. Do I think one of the laser temperature guns would help? Yeah, maybe, if you know, a little bit of practice and figure out exactly what temperature and what time you want. But even then, like I said, it's going to be a little bit hard to judge what the temperature is on the side that's facing the fire and how intense the fire is burning. Like I said, you could kind of, I don't know if you could hear it on the mic, but when I first started off, the fire was kind of roaring along a little more. I had just stoked it, but once it settles down, it's a bit less intense. So you got to kind of make it up as you go along, and just open the iron and peek inside. Like I said, you're supposed to be able to wait until it quits steaming, but I'd never seen any steam come out of these, so I don't know how much good that would be. Let me back up and try and catch at least a few of the comments here. I got some of them in between bouts with the waffles. Your first 3 rosettes were perfect, then the batter started to break up. Cornmeal sank to the bottom. And I've never heard of cornmeal rosettes. Usually it's just milk, eggs, flour, and sugar. Dead silence can be broken with one little fart. Yeah, that's all it takes. Made cornmeal waffle a few weeks ago. Started with the rosettes and poured the leftover batter in the waffle iron. Okay. I have, heard people making cornmeal waffles. Use a basic cornbread recipe and bake it up in a waffle iron. Been meaning to try that one of these days. Maybe I will. But definitely something you can think about. I love dead air and blackness. Yeah, you get that when I'm doing live cooking shows over on the cook stove and got to move everything back over here to settle into where I can get to the comments good. This Walmart, when people start buying a lot of something of one brand, they'll stop selling it because other brands don't sell. That goes for food items. Yeah, and over the last few years, anytime it looks like there might be a shortage. I mean, there's only 2 cans left on the shelf because they haven't restocked it. You'll see it all over social media. Oh my God, Walmart is out of green beans or whatever the hell, and there'll be a big stampede on green beans, even though there never was a problem until everybody went and bought every damn can of beans they could find. And you see that with eggs too. They're expensive, but people are just going nuts and buying 12 dozen eggs all at once if they can. And yeah, it gets to be just kind of silly. Got a lot more hibernating to do before spring. Yeah, like I say, we never really get spring. It just goes directly from winter to summer around here. But anyway, I'll get back here. Had trouble getting both sides of your waffle evenly browned. Yeah, it's tough, because both sides of the iron are hot too when you fill it. But one side's hotter than the other, and it's just kind of a matter of playing around with it. I'll skip back down to the bottom here, get down to the current ones. People asked you once, what's the name of your 15 cats? Oh, you tried using my recipe, but you found that you had no flour, only corn flour. That's how you ended up doing that. Well, if they work, they work, but there's not much. You need a certain amount of gluten to hold everything together, and cornmeal doesn't have that. So I think I pretty much more or less caught up with them. Yeah, your 15 cats. So I don't have quite that many running around outside. There's about 8 last time I got a halfway decent count on them. But there's a couple that come and go, and you see every once in a great while. But they don't think they don't actually live here, they just pass through. Do I think it would be possible to use another plate from the stove to heat the upside of the waffle iron for more even cooking? You could, maybe. It just kind of seems to be a matter of getting the knack of turning it enough, and you can peek in and see if one side needs a little more cooking. I mean, let me show you one that turned out real nice and even. I got some that turned out really good on both sides. So, like I said, it just takes a little bit of practice doing it. Really happy with the Wapak waffle iron suspended in the E-tank. Looks like it was coated with axle grease. Yeah, I've seen that too sometimes. And I think some people do that. They'll just coat it with motor oil or whatever is handy to make it look like it's nice and shiny. And I've come across an old Dutch oven. I know damn well it had to have been used for draining oil, because it was definitely had to use motor oil in it. Took a bit to get that one clean. I had to scrub the hell out of it and then ran it through my lye bath right before I was figured on dumping it anyway. So it didn't get the petroleum on stuff I didn't want petroleum based oil on. But yeah, right before I figured on dumping it anyway, I soaked it in there and it did get it all off. Does anyone have a cast iron potato roaster? Looks a bit like a fluted pan. See one here cheap labeled as a cake pan. No, I can't say as I've seen one. Eggs are the glue in cornbread instead of gluten. Yeah. Diced jalapenos made my cornbread waffles great. Oh, I bet that would be. And making cornbread waffles probably be a really good way to break in a waffle iron after you just got done stripping and seasoning it, because there's a lot more oil in the cornbread batter than there is in waffle batter, and they'd be less likely to stick to begin with. But this one here I didn't have any problems with. I have had some where it's a real pain the first time you use them. It doesn't matter how much you oil them up, they just want to stick no matter what you do, until you get maybe about a half a dozen waffles made, and then they start coming along pretty good. But yeah, cornbread waffles would be a good way to break them in, I'd bet. But the stove is settling down, so it isn't quite so hot in here. I still got the front door open. I'm going to have to tune up my my 3-burner gas stove, and get that cleaned up good again. Maybe in the summertime I can use that sitting on top of the cook stove there to cook on. A little bit handier than setting up over by my other stove for a live stream anyway. If I'm going to shoot a regular video, it doesn't really matter, but it's a bit handier just to be able to have the camera set up over there looking at the stove. One of the many projects I'll have to get onto. You've shredded potatoes and cooked them in your waffle iron. Worked well. I've seen all kinds of things cooked in waffle irons. Some of them look pretty good, and a few of them look just kind of stupid. But Yeah, shredding potatoes would definitely work good, to break in a waffle iron too. Like I said, that's what I generally use to break in newly seasoned pans. Is I fry potatoes in them the first couple of times, and that really helps to help break them in. But anyhow, yeah, I got that acorn hinged uh, Andresen waffle iron stripped down, got it cleaned up pretty good, and still got to give it a little trip through the vinegar bath to get the rust off it. But that's coming along pretty good. How about some potato chip mashed potatoes? Yeah, Corey posted that video on the Facebook page, and I have seen it before, but that's got to be the most stupid thing I've ever seen. Boiling up potato chips to make mashed potatoes. And this gal only did one bag, but I've seen somebody that did like 2 or 3 bags. So you're looking at $15 worth of potato chips, $20 worth of potato chips to make 50 cents worth of mashed potatoes. I mean, it's just the most ridiculous thing I ever saw. And you're not saving any time. It's not any faster than just peeling the damn things and chunking them up and boiling them. And yeah, it's just so damn stupid. I mean, if you're going to do something like that, just get some instant mashed potatoes. It's a lot faster. It's a lot easier. It's a hell of a lot cheaper than boiling up potato chips. Billy Lee fries potatoes and all are newly seasoned iron, regardless of what it is. Always works great for you. Yeah, like I said, that's what I always use to break in cast iron. Frying pans anyway. Didn't do potatoes on that, but yeah, that really works good. The potatoes shed a little really super fine starch, and that kind of works into the cracks and crevices, gets things sealed up, and it gets a good start on the seasoning process because that'll carbonize fairly easy, and it'll darken it up nice and get the process going. Let's see here. Munch on one of these a little bit before they get too cold. But putting offer in on an Indian head waffle iron. It's a rusty mess. Looks like you'd be learning to restore the hard way. Yeah, and waffle irons can be a pain to get scrubbed out on the waffle side, because I should show you this. Screw it, I'm too lazy to get up. I found a couple little brushes at where the hell was that? Might have been Walmart. I actually stopped at Walmart for something. They're KitchenAid brand brushes. One looked like a toothbrush with kind of an angled handle on it, and the other one was a little round brush. They were cleaning brushes, and they worked really nice on my waffle iron. Good and stiff enough to get in there and clean things up, and you can actually get, the handles are shaped right that you can actually get in there and scrub with them. So I was pretty tickled with those. I should probably go back and buy another 6 sets of them, because I can guarantee you, since they actually work good and I like them, they'll disappear within a couple of months. They'll be discontinued. Be sure to check out Huey's short tonight, showing off his BSR number 14 Red Mountain. Well, I will do that. Yeah, good luck on the Indian head. Like I say, it can be a challenge to get waffle irons cleaned up good. Waffle irons, corn stick pans, Turk's head pans. They're kind of a fluted muffin, look like a mini bundt cake almost, but they call them Turk's head pans. Yeah, they're a pain to get into, but they're worthwhile. I mean, I like them, so you have to take pics of the process, put it on the Facebook page. Yeah, I'd definitely be interested. You're looking for a high base slant logo Griswold 1908, if anyone knows one for sale. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see the high base ones very often. The Actually, I do know where there is one, but they want like $230 for it. It's in an antique shop. So it's a tall base Griswold, but I think it's a 1908, but I'm not positive. But yeah, they want I think like 225 for it, which is a bit steep. You don't like Turk's heads mud? Oh, I like making stuff in them, but they're a pain to get cleaned out. I mean, you wouldn't think so because it looks like you get in there fairly easy with your fingers and a scouring pad or something or other. You can't. I mean, they're shaped just wrong that you can't. There's no easy way of scrubbing out the inside of them damn little cavities in there. So a Griswold lamb mold still in the box went for 110. Shit, that ain't bad. Yeah, that's almost what you'd usually expect to pay 125 or so for for a Griswold lamb mold, much less one in the box. Something like that should have went for a good bit more. So you definitely lucked out with that one. You bought 2 wok spatulas for $4 a piece at an Asian supermarket, good quality ones. Yeah, I mean, wok shovels are handier than hell. I mean, just for general use and not just in a wok. Need a square base like I have. You got the irons, not the base. Yeah, the square bases are going to be a tough one to find on their own. Although I have come across them a couple times, round high bases just by itself. All you can do is keep an eye out and hope for the best. Yeah, Turks are a pain in the ass to restore. Yeah, they are. Like I said, you wouldn't think so looking at it that they'd be as hard as they are, but there's no easy way of getting in there to clean them out. Have one of the old Griswold lambs, has numbers on the loops but not on the base. Oh, I see that. I was wandering around a bit this weekend and saw a really nice aluminum lamb mold. They just had the company initials, kind of a logo on it, and there wasn't really a name, but it was a really nice mold. Looked nicer than most of the cast iron lamb molds you see. Do you think you ever do a collaboration with Cast Iron Chaos again? You hope so? Well, probably. Kind of depends on schedules and whatnot. It can be it's fun to set up. It's kind of fun to have somebody on the stream, but it can be kind of a pain to set them up too. Anyway, well, we've been at this for about an hour now, so probably about time to wrap her up and eat me a bunch of waffles. And hopefully you enjoyed the show. Yeah, get your waffle irons out, give them a try one of these days if you got them sitting around. Because like I said, the cast iron waffles are definitely a good bit crispier than the ones you usually get out of electric waffle irons. They are different. You can definitely notice a difference, but They're really good. How about Heather? Bread making. Uh, she has a whole bunch of stuff going on with her kids the last couple of weeks. We're hoping sometime in March we'll be able to do a stream with both of us. And get anything new this week? Yeah, I got a couple of things, but I figured I'd save them for next week because I'd be busy cooking. But anyway, try and wrap this up again. We'll see you guys next week, and hope you enjoyed the show. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.